Good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program Face to Face. Mongolia has diplomatic relations with more than 130 countries, and among them, India has the very special. Good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program Face to Face. Mongolia has diplomatic relations with more than 130 countries, and among them, India has a very special place. In 1955, India was the very first country, besides Soviet bloc, to establish diplomatic relations with our country. On December 24, we are celebrating 55th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations between Mongolia and India, and to honor these celebrations, we have invited Ambassador of India Extraordinary Plenipotentiary to Mongolia, His Excellency Mr. Singh. And good evening, Mr. Ambassador.
Good evening to you.
And thank you very much for being with us today.
So wonderful coming here.
Thank you very much. And I would like to ask you to kindly share with us the general update, what is happening in the diplomatic relations between Mongolia and India.
Well, we look at it, we established diplomatic relations in 55. Our first visit of Vice President Radhakrishnan was in 57. Thereafter, we had the chairman of the Mongolian People's Revolutionary Party, Sidenbal, visiting us in 59. There are 4 major declarations. This relates to the visit of Sidenbal in 73, of President Ochirbat in 94, President Bagbandi in 2001, and latest was of President Albakdorj in 2009. And these are the basic foundation blocks of the current diplomatic relations. But we should also remember a fact that Mongolian-Indian relations are very ancient. Legendary Genghis Khan had Buddhists at his advisors to him. So it's a very old relationship, but 55 years in the modern context. We have a very sound political base for cooperation between the two countries. What we have actually lacked is economic relations. It's just not there, and one of the biggest lacuna is connectivity. We are very near to each other. If we today look in terms of the communication means, it is just 5 hours from Ulaanbaatar to Delhi if we fly via Urumqi in China, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and to Delhi. Russian airlines are using this route, but we have to put this connectivity in place because that will open up the opportunities for the businessman to tap more than $1 trillion economy of India for investment. You can get best of the human resources for your mining projects, and you can avail best of the medical facilities, education facilities. These are the areas which are presently not being used because poor connectivity. Now, in terms of the interaction in the civil society, it had been very regular, and I must pay tribute to the brave souls, both Mongolian and Indian, who sought each other when the communication was only by feet or by means of animals, that they have gone to seek the knowledge, and Indians came to this land. So it's a tribute to them that we see the flourishing Buddhism in your country. The civil society contact is very good. We have around 400 Mongolians who are studying in India in various institutions. I must mention and take this opportunity to inform the ordinary Mongolian that we grant 120 scholarships per year for short duration courses, and 30 scholarships which are 3 to 5 years or even more for higher studies. Please avail them. And I must say that if you avail all of them, you will have more of them from Government of India. So please do avail them. One area which is now being looked after is the first-rate medical facilities in India. They are internationally competitive, they are professionally very good, and they are cost-wise cheap. So avail them for medicine, visit them, India, for medical facilities. Leisure is another area. You people are traveling abroad, you are going to China, you are going to Russia, you are going to Europe. Please do visit India. You will fulfill both.
And it's a beautiful country. I've been there 5 times, and every time I've been amazed with your country. Since you have mentioned about different perspectives where the relations between our countries are prospering, I would like to start with maybe one of the important areas, especially for interests of Mongolian people, is economic development. And we know that India is now considered as the 7th or 8th largest economy in the world. And I would like to ask to share how India has been able to achieve this level. Is it only because of one of the largest populations in the world, or are there any other factors leading to that?
Well, if you look on the economic development of India, the key is education. The education is the key. When India started investing more in the education, obviously the entrepreneurs came. Today, India has around 500,000 engineers graduating every year. Now, this is the capital. In India, we feel the capital is not physical. Capital is in human being. Capital is in their brains. So, if you develop that, then you are growing. And I think so that has paid us dividend. Our literacy rate is not that 100%, but fairly high. And it's a focused education. So, the education is the basis for the future economy, and that is the region wherever you see the education has made a difference in information technology. Education has made a difference in biotechnology. Education has made a difference in space. Education has made a difference in metallurgy. And these are the frontier areas where the science is moving. These are the areas where the economic growth is moving. And these are the areas where Indians are moving. So it is that the building block begins with a very small thing, which is a small school in a village, where child is taught first his mother tongue and then other language. So we have this policy that mother tongue comes first. So for first language for the child is his mother tongue. From there, you go on to what is called the whole production system. The production system in India basically is private. State owns strategic assets, but state encourages the private investment. The private entrepreneurs should come forward. And why this model is slightly different than free capitalism? Because there are social responsibilities which are codified as corporate responsibilities. In India, they are part of the social responsibilities. Labor rights, it has to be adhered to. Safety and security has to be adhered to. The social responsibility has come in terms of that whether it is destroying ecology or not. As you know, India is going to be a water deficient country because of huge population and water necessity. So it is very important that any productive entity takes all this into account. Not today, not profit for today, but profit for future to come. So that is the basis of Indian economy. We are also different economy in terms of that our domestic consumption and domestic production is around 70%. So our economy has not suffered as much as other economies have suffered in the crisis because it is domestically driven. Consumption is domestic, production is domestic. So in that sense, we see a very firm economic path. And economy being led with the frontier technologies, frontier information technology, biotechnology, space, metallurgy. These are the future areas of growth for us. Mongolia is a very rich country. Per capita, Mongolians own the largest amount of resources under the ground. Right. You have to convert it into the future prosperity for your country.
And I would like to continue your idea about the fact that India has benefited a lot from education. And I've heard from my Indian business partners that education in India is very particular. It starts from the early age. They are trained to the logical thinking. This is the reason why Indian people are now one of the best IT engineers in the world. What are the specifics of the Indian education?
Well, if you look at it, as I mentioned, it begins at home because India has a very strong tradition of storytelling, vocal education. In terms of the child, instead of watching TV, most probably will hear some story from relative, mother, father, grandparents, or elder cousin. So the child's evening is not spent on glued to TV till today, but hearing voice, nuancing, storytelling from our epics, from their own life. So storytelling is very important for the child, because the child starts establishing the pattern of the social life they are. Second aspect is that India, it's a culturally imbibed but has a religious aspect also. The epics are mixed with religion. So they see like Ramayana is told and played for months together in even small villages. So is Mahabharata. These epics are told and retold, and they are part of it after some times. They play, enact it. So these are the values which comes in. Then they come to school. And in schooling, the emphasis is you must be good in your mother tongue, and thereafter you go on to other subjects. Mostly math is one area which is being taught very systematically. I must mention to you that when I was growing up, instead of writing, I have to respond to the fairy tales which were based on mathematical puzzles. So the multiplications, the subtractions were not taught to me with a pen or paper or a chalk or a board, but were narrated to me verbally, and I was supposed to mentally work it out and respond it. So the table formation begins there when you are not actually formally in school, but you are at home and with your peers. And that's the way this education proceeds. Once you go to schools, of course, it's highly competitive. There is no doubt, but the priority for every parent is that my child must have the best education, and then you move on from there. Another aspect which has become very important for us is engineering colleges, medical colleges, management colleges. There was a phase in 80s when I came to the university system that they were in deficiency. There was a very tough competition. Today we have overcome them because we have brought in foundations and private investment. The state manages the quality, but actual teaching is left to the private institutions, so they have to adhere to. The examinations are still state controlled, state run. The degrees are by the state universities, but actual teaching is in the private sector. Apart from the government institution, we have around 200 universities, and they have their own colleges, but private colleges can be part of the universities, and large number of the private colleges are coming up, but quality is sustained and maintained by the government institutions. So I think so this has been a very big success. Another area where state succeeded extremely well was the Teachers Training Institute. India has around 400 districts all over India. So roughly a district's population will be million plus. Every million plus district has a teachers training school. That means they are people, those who belongs to local community, local area, they are trained there as teacher, and then they come back and teach in their villages, in their towns. So they need not to move out. We have found it an extremely important instrumentality because here the role of women has become very important. So their family life is not disturbed. They have been educated in their district, they have been trained in their district, and they come and teach in their village, their town, so they need not to move out, need not to leave their family. This has implication that we have reservation for women. 33% of our local seats are reserved for women. So wherever the women is head of our villages, we have village community panchayat, off town, health and education gets automatic priority. So the rural India is changing and transforming because of education, which is now actually dominated by women. So this is the biggest transformation in Indian society has come. This transformation is coming after 1,500 years, I think. So we had a very vibrant role for women historically, and they were the one who controlled the household. Till now they control it. So this is the biggest contribution in education, health, and ultimately in the economic growth and prosperity comes that the women are extremely active, and this also has an implication for the better family life.
Right.
because the woman is the housemaker, homemaker, and if she is happy, she is contented, the children also get it.